So there is this idea that youth is dangerous, that in a way they pose a danger to the society, and because of that, they need to be treated. I mean, we need to pay attention and give them frames, opportunities to participate in a meaningful way. The idea that young people just left by themselves, they either become apathetic, don't caring about anything about politics, or they can even become dangerous, leading into extremist groups, etc. In the UK, for instance, we have the case of the recent Prevent agenda. That is, it's one of its aims is to target and to identify young people that might be in danger of becoming extremists. And this poses lots of pressures for teachers, youth workers, etc. But there is this idea, like was expressed by Lass Sioral in 2005. She was the director for the European Commission of Youth and Sports. She says that the political alienation of young people has reached a point where increasing numbers of young people are either completely disinterested and ignorant of politics or have gone to extremist political movements. So this reflects a little bit what I was saying. So in face of this possibility of danger, there is the need to come with this notion of youth participation. Young people should not be left to themselves. Adults should help them frame their participation. So you can see these ideas that they are alienated, they don't get interested in politics, etc., etc. As such, as a result, I mean, in the face of an uprising of people, as we see all around the world, I mean, we saw that in 2010 in the Occupy movements, we are seeing this today with the Extinction Rebellion. We also saw that in 2011 during the Arabic Spring, the revolution in Tunisia, Egypt, mostly led by young people, also the Greek crisis, etc. Most of these uprisings are actually led by young people, and a big component of the population of these uprisings are actually young people, contesting against the status quo or manifesting a pure display of rage, as in the case of these rampant school shootings in the United States that we all know. There is a need to exert damage control by way of rechanneling all these energies or a popular uprising into acceptable parliamentary capitalist constraints. So because young people have all this energy, all this uprising power, there is the need to kind of domesticate that, to control that, and to transform it into more acceptable parliamentary capitalist liberal democratic constraints. So the purpose is not to question or explore alternatives to these societal arrangements, neoliberalism, liberal democracy, etc., but to devise and implement strategies that guarantee a smooth transition into a healthy and thriving adulthood in a free and productive society and economy. So in the discussion about youth participation, very seldom is the question posed about should youth participation also challenge the status quo, not just trying to ameliorate, improve the system, but also raise questions about that system itself. So this is something that is very important, that is faded away, that is very non-present in the way youth participation is designed. The idea is just to create future adults that can fit in the society that we have today. A society that, as we all know, is very problematic, and maybe we should also raise questions about the same society. So as a result, some instances of youth work function as to guarantee that young people's time is not wasted, but can instead be optimized within a logic of permanent self-financing productivity. There's a very nice article that I will ask you to read by Dillable, where she says that in a society of permanent self-financing and productivity, activities like protesting, striking, and squatting are seen either as a waste or as dangerous. So every activity that does not fit into the status quo, that challenges the status quo, like protesting, squatting, etc., are seen as dangerous. Youth participation has to occur within a certain productive frame. It has to produce something to the same society that we already have. Instead of raising questions, instead of criticizing, instead of posing obstacles on the development of that same society that many of us find very problematic. Dillabo calls it the utilitarian idea of youth, where young people are perceived as owners of a commodity that cannot be wasted but needs to make itself useful and productive. So young people cannot be wasted, but all that energy should be channeled into something productive, meaningful. And of course, all this discussion, and just to conclude this first video, youth participation is an adult concern. As we concluded as one of the results of the Participate project, one of the very interesting conclusions that we had, it concerns the notion of youth participation. As it was mentioned in one of the project reports, it is important to highlight that the word participation in itself does not have any significance for the young people we met. The idea of youth participation derives less from the everyday life of adolescents and more from the conceptual world and the language used by adults or the adult world of the organizations. In most cases, they are busy young people with simply being young, with all the challenges that entails in terms of education, work, social relations, further plans in general. So young people are perplexed when they listen to this expression, youth participation, because they don't recognize themselves in it. It shows how it is an adult concern. Important, just to finish, important readings, if you want to explore more these issues about dangerous youth and the social construction of youth, are the cornerstone book by Nancy Lesko called Act Your Age, A Cultural Construction of Adolescence, and an article from Dillabo, History and the Making of Young People in the Late Modern Youth Researcher, Time, Narrative and Change. The evaluation activity that we will ask you to do relies on the reading of these texts. Thank you very much for this first video. See you in the next one. Thank you.